What's up, YouTube? Devin Midrow here. Coming at you again with video 53. Video 53, yeah. I'm pretty sure about that. Pretty sure. What about just sure, right? Pretty sure. Another fun thing. I just got to say this. I got inspired just now, and you could probably see my inspiration right here. This wire, and it's you got to think, I'm driving, right? I'm driving, and I have it set up, you know what I mean? But sometimes, for some reason, the wire just gets kind of like tangled or stuck on something, right? And so, it's a bit tedious to have to plug this sucker into the now I actually plug it in before I start driving, right, and everything, but just sometimes, you know what I mean, when I have it plugged in and everything is good, some reason it gets stuck on something, it gets tangled with something. And that's kind of the solution that I created, because initially I was like, I'd be driving and I plug it in on like a red light or something, and even then it'd be getting tangled and stuff. And I'm just basically kind of touching on this, in that a lot of stuff is wireless nowadays. And if you're somebody that grew up where everything was wired, right, your level of appreciation is that much greater, because you know how more convenient it is to have this wireless stuff, right? Like wireless routers, right? Like these power tools that don't need a wire. You can put a battery on it and you can go anywhere. You can go 1,000 yards off or whatever. You had to park your vehicle and you had to go into the woods, right, and cut down a tree or something like that, or whatever it is, and you got the battery with you, so it goes where you go. You don't have to have a wire run into it to have power. I wrote about an email about this today, and it came down to technology. I mean, I kind of expanded upon another topic, but since we're on the tech topic, technology, really what it is, if you really break it out and think about it, it's pretty much just the why we pay top dollar for technology is kind of what I wrote about. Really, a big part of it, and it's the convenience. It's a convenience. If you don't want the convenience of having headphones, or even wireless headphones, which typically cost more money, right? Like if you think about a wireless, the same exact like Apple. This is Apple headphones, right? And then you have the AirPods, they call them. They even have I'll put air quotes for the AirPods. It's the same. I mean, it looks exactly the same, right? It's the same exact. It's white, or they have different colors and stuff, right? But the standard color is white, and I think it's the same exact design and everything, except the wire is missing. And they're going to charge you, I don't know how much more, probably at least triple more than what you'd pay for the wired ones. And here's the fun part. The quality compared to the wired headphones is probably close, but I still say the wired headphones will beat the wireless headphones. So these are better technically when you look at the quality, but they're cheaper too, right? So you pay less and they're better, but you got to deal with the wire, the inconvenience. And that's what people are willing to spend that extra triple, even quadruple price tag on, is for the convenience. We think about it. We go to work, right? We work and we do our thing, and all that. And really, we gotta buy food, right? You gotta pay for food, right? Or you can go hunting or fishing or whatever and get your own food that way. But that's time. And then if you don't have that skill, well, that's why the grocery store is so successful, because you don't have to be real talented to go to the grocery store and grab things off the shelf and put it in your cart and go to the register, right? You know what I mean? So there's that, right? And then there's, you got to pay for your shelter, right? You got to pay for a house or rent or whatever it may be that you're living in, right? Or you can go create you can build a grass shack, and you can live off the grid and live in your shack, right? And deal with the pleasantries of nature. Hey, some people do it. Most people don't, right? They like the finer things in life. Even with clothes too, right? I mean, legally, yeah, you got to wear clothes. If you don't wear clothes, well, um, depending on where you're at, there's a few select places that you can totally get away with that and be perfectly fine. But in most places, especially public places, you go walking around naked, you're gonna get, arrested, right, in a very short period of time. So if you want to go get arrested, that's a great way to do it. Right there is just go ahead and go out, publicly walk around naked without clothes on, and you say, "Hey, I don't want to buy clothes. That costs money." And they go, "Well, okay, you're gonna have to spend a lot more to get bailed out of jail, right, or something like that." So it's a fascinating concept, right? The things the kind of the things we have to pay for legally in order to not get locked up, right? There's those things, and then there's then there's everything else, right? The things that we don't need, we want. There's a difference between wants and needs, right? Most of our money, I would say, goes towards our wants, though, if you think about it. Like when you go to Disney, and you got to fly there and get your ticket and the hotel and pay for the rides and the food and all that stuff. That's multi-$1,000s. I don't even know if that's really a necessary word to use. Multi-thousands. I think thousands covers it, but I just had to add it in to spice it up. I think that's really what it boils down to, right? If you think about it, we will spend a significant amount of money on the things that we want, right? So you think about what we do for how we generate an income, right? Because that's basically what it is nowadays. Back, hundreds of years ago, it was a lot different. There was a lot less things that we spent currency on, which was probably more so like things, right? Yeah, that's kind of wild in itself to think about that. Hundreds of years ago, currency really was things along the lines like, it was objects. It was like it was food, right? Typically it was a lot of more survival, so it was a lot more needs. Hey, I'll give you these eggs for that milk, or I'll give you this goat for this sheep, or I'll give you this chicken for that cow, or all those things, right? And you had like very select places, like there's the blacksmith, right, where you needed the blacksmith to build you something, right? There was probably carpenters, right? Of course, people would be building stuff, right? You'd build a house, or you'd build a brick house, or whatever it was. So I think that's kind of an interesting dynamic, to really look back to history and look back at how simple things were back then. There's way less complication. Life was a lot more simple. It was a lot more rigid. I think as far as opportunity went, it was a lot more skewed, because you had royalty, right? People who were born into royalty continued the royalty, and people who were on the lower echelon basically stayed at the lower echelon. There's very few opportunities to really come up and have that live that lavish lifestyle. And yet again, there are probably people who lived in royalty that had a very rough life. They didn't enjoy it. There was a lot of they weren't happy at many times, right? Depending on what they were dealing with. And there are probably a lot of people who lived in poverty that had a great life, right? They loved their life. They took care of their family, and they were able to, make things work. And of course, everything in between. And it's money is a metric. Money isn't everything, but it's something, right? It is something, and it's something that we whether we like it or not, you got to deal with that. You have to in this life. If you want to make things happen, you aspire to do things and achieve things or experience things. There's a cost, right? There's a cost for that thing to be experienced, right? These businesses that will put on these experiences for you, like shows or skydiving or painting, classes, yoga classes, whatever, all these things that you want to experience. That's a person's time. Could be materials that they need, like tools or whatever it could be. And it requires their time and money in order for them to do that kind of stuff, right? So that's kind of the yin and the yang in this world. It's hard. It's very rare, if not ever, that you can get something for nothing, right? It's so rare to see something for nothing in this world. It's just the odds are heavily stacked against that. I'd venture to say that I don't know if you could tell me a scenario where you're getting something for nothing. let me know. Like, people think that they get blessed, right? Like, someone comes along and maybe they buy them their dinner all of a sudden for nothing. A lot of times there's a reason why they bought you that dinner. It's not nothing that they just went and bought you their dinner. Something inspired them. It could be, there's a U.S. vet, right, wearing their hat, right, and they're saying, United States veteran, and that's probably inspired somebody to go and say, hey, I want to cover their meal tonight because of that. That's not nothing. That's not even close to nothing. If you served in the military and you're a veteran in the military, that's absolutely something. That's a big something, right? So everything we got to inspect what you expect, right? What you're doing with your time is getting you the results that are exactly what you're supposed to be getting right now. And if those aren't the results you're desiring, you have to do something different in order to get the results that you want. You got to look at life, you got to think about it, you got to reevaluate, and you got to really check your heading and where you're going in life, and seeing if that is going to get you where you want to go. You got to look ahead. You got to look far ahead, in fact, to really evaluate and see, where you're going, and make the necessary changes accordingly. Anyways, I'm getting a little too crazy with this, but I want to keep it to at least close to the 10-minute mark. So I'm going to leave you guys with that. Take away what you want with that. There's a lot of stuff to digest with it. And I think that the channel, after making 53 videos now, I can see where I'm at, and it's been enlightening because it's really just about, living your best life. I think if I had to sum it up, what I'm really trying to, push out there with this is really looking at your life and challenging the status quo and finding ways to really level up your game. In the game of life, it's about leveling up, right? If you play any game, you don't just stay at the same level, right? You want to go up. You want to get better. You want to improve. You want to reach the higher ranks, the top of the mountain, if you will. So, that's what it comes down to, right? The best hikes are the ones where you get to the top of the mountain, right? And you got to start from the bottom, right? Unless you live on the mountain and you're going down, that's nice, that's okay. But you're always starting from the bottom of the mountain, and when you get to the top, you have that achievement, that massive achievement of getting to the top. All right, but that's it. I'm done. We'll see you guys on the next video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I will see you on the next one. Aloha.